Yo, welcome to the voice of college football. Joined by your boy Sam at More Life One. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host, Matthew. What's up, man?
What's going on, brother? How you doing tonight?
Everything good, man. Yeah, in Vegas, I see you got some Vegas in the background. What's going on in Vegas?
Yeah, man. I'm out here in Vegas for the week for WrestleMania 41, man. I'm a big wrestling nut on top of a football nut. So I actually was a a wrestling fanatic even before I started watching football. I started watching wrestling at the age of 3. So it's like the one trip that I take every year. I always go to wrestling.
That's what's up, man. I stopped watching it once I found out it wasn't real. I gave up. As a kid, I really wanted to believe that it was real, but I can't do it no more once I found out it wasn't real. Had to give up on it.
Yeah, yeah. Around the time I hit middle school, I started realizing that it really wasn't whatever. You start appreciating it for entertainment value.
Yeah. So, where you want to start today, man? I figure we'll start with the portal. Um, that seems to be the only real news that's kind of coming out of Florida State, to be honest with you. So let's start. Let's start with the portal, man. What's your thoughts on the guys that we lost? We lost Jordan Scott was the big wide receiver, the 6'7" guy, the JUCO. Jalen Early, they lost. Who else did they lose? They lost somebody else. I can't remember the other person. You know the other person? Oh man, you got like a little lag going on.
Play we start with first.
You say again? Yeah. Yeah, you got like a lag. But I know they lost
Say the first two again.
you got early, they lost early, they lost Jordan Scott.
I said say the first two players you said again.
Yeah, Jordan Scott and Early. Jalen Early. Yeah. Anyway, they lost Jordan Scott, who had just got to campus. I think he was 6'7". They thought he was gonna be like a Johnny. They thought he
Yeah,
was gonna be
they
like a
also
Johnny.
lost the quarterback Trevor Jackson too.
Yeah, which I don't understand why people were so big on Trevor Jackson because I'm like he was like a 4 string walk on. I don't know why people thought. I think people think he was gonna become like Jordan Travis reincarnated. I think that's what the idea was.
Jordan Scott.
Yeah, so I didn't understand that. So um, I think the three guys they lost wasn't. I don't think it was that big of a loss. I think it was kind of unexpected, kind of somebody you just got to leave that soon. You know what I'm saying? I think that was weird. Um, but yeah. But I thought that was kind of weird that they lost that guy. The Jackson kid, I think people just kind of really wanted Jackson to be good. I really wasn't in this whole like Trevor Jackson's gonna be this great quarterback. I mean, because normally if you're a great quarterback, you get a scholarship. You don't have to walk on somewhere. I don't know why people so enamored with him. To be honest with you, um, I think the bigger concern is they got two other players that's supposed to go into the portal. Pettis, depending on how his contract situation work out, because they talking about he want a new deal. And I know there was some rumors about Cam Davis going into the portal. If I was Cam Davis, I wouldn't go into the portal personally. I would stick it out because I don't know if he can get to a better school than Florida State. If we being honest, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he gonna have to log out and come back in. Let me take him off. But anyway, I would go with for the most part though. I think it bothers me that Florida State doesn't have a real foundation of good players yet. They're kind of losing players, and now we got to go into the portal. Hope we can get a couple players. I do know it's like a good defensive end, maybe a linebacker that's coming from North Carolina that I'm hoping that we can get in on. But right now, the guys they have lost. I mean, it's not that big of a loss. I mean, the team went two and whatever, so it's not that big of a loss. Matthew, you back? No, I guess he's not back yet. But anyway, uh, so I think the bigger need for them is they're gonna have to find a way to get some cornerback help. They're gonna have to find a way to get some defensive end help. I think the defensive tackles, in my opinion, look pretty good. So that's not something I really worry about. But a team that's only won 2 games, man, I don't really care about who really leads the program and who's really. I care more about who's coming than who's leaving because I guess whatever you lose, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So um, I'll take some questions. Y'all got questions, man? Just put them in the chat. I'm gonna go through them or whatever. Um, I do think it's weird though, man, that these schools, like I know everybody's been talking about the Nico situation. Now we currently got a situation where offensive tackle now is trying to get some extra money out of Florida State. T Murray to my he in the portal. That's funny, man. But nah, man. But it is kind of weird, man, having these guys all starting to try to negotiate their contracts in the spring. As soon as the spring is over, whenever their spring period is over, trying to negotiate contracts to get more money from these schools. I really wish the NCAA or somebody would at least step in and put these kids on at least a 2-year or at least a 1-year contract where you can't stop 6 months within being within the school. You know, I don't hate NIL, but I do hate that there's like literally nothing that ties the kid to the school for at least a year. I mean, they're not even tied for a year. These kids, as soon as the semester's over, they're able to jump in the portal, which to me is just weird. Yeah, got George for the Gators talking crap in the chat. The Gators are not. Have y'all quarterback started throwing the football yet? I don't know. That's a good question for the Gators. Have y'all quarterback started throwing the football yet? So, uh, so I'm gonna start there. So, let me go down another list. I really want to talk about the quarterback situation with Tommy Castellanos and Brock Glenn and the guy Sperry. And I am a little concerned with Sperry. With Brock Glenn, he's probably being overtaken by Sperry, I would think. I think Sperry's gonna end up probably QB2, it looks like to me, which is a bigger problem, in my opinion. Hold on, I think got Matthew back. Let me add him back to the stage. Okay. I guess I don't have him back yet. But they do. That's a big deal. They need to come with at least a 1-year contract. Something, man. We gotta build for somewhere. All right, man. You back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah. It just kind of lagging in and lagging out.
Hopefully it's good now.
I think they hoping Sperry gonna be him. I mean, that's what they're gonna hope. Um, do you think they should be trying to get a quarterback, a porter quarterback? Okay.
Well, I mean, with you with Trevor Jackson leaving, I don't really think that's a big loss. You know, it kind of fits what like bro. So I think he ran for about 1,200 yards the last 2 years in high school. Scored like 16 touchdowns. But I mean, he hadn't really shown anything here that made me make any noise this year. I was hopeful he could, but I don't really think that. Well, as far as them going after a portal quarterback, I would still look into it. I don't know if that's the thing I would look for, but I would still look into it.
Right. I mean, they
What
probably
do you
don't
think
get
about
a
the quarterback position?
they
Like, do
probably
you
don't
think
get a
they
starting.
look for
They
one?
probably no, they probably don't get a starting quarterback from the portal. I was thinking more like somebody that can help you next year. But I don't really like. To me, the spring portal window has been
No, they probably
terrible.
don't get
Like
a
I don't. It's not a lot of talent in the spring portal window.
Mhm.
So you know, that's really not the place to
Yeah,
really get talent from the spring. If you don't have something about the spring, you're not gonna find it. Like you're not gonna really find anything. You know what I mean? There can't be many quarterbacks out there. Let me read this off. There can't be many quarterbacks out there right now. It would be amazing
yeah.
to take a
When you look at when you look at Jalen Early, the lineman. Yeah, like when you look at Jalen Early, the lineman.
yeah.
Um,
I think the more glaring problem with the Jalen Early thing was he was in a class, the 22 class that was supposed to be a really good O line class, and what they had left out of that class, they only hit on like 4 guys that became starters out of that 22
making sure
class.
it's not lagging again.
Yeah, the 22-23 class only came up with like 5 starters out of the high school ranks. Out of 40 players, I think it was 45 players out of the high school ranks that they recruited for that 2-year window. And they only ended up with like 5 guys that could play that started. Say what? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that connection gonna work tonight, dog. Connection fucked. But man, if y'all got questions, drop them in the chat, and I'm gonna see how long I can go with just me. But I did want to go through this right here though. No, it's just let me jump in here real quick. Let me hit this. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not gonna let you do it tonight, dog. But well, let's talk. Miami, Miami got a little bit more talent than Florida State. That Emory Williams kid, I don't really think he can play quarterback on this level. He probably won't be able to help Florida State next year. I mean, Castellanos is going to be the quarterback. That's happening. I'm not really too concerned about that. I am worried that can Castellanos make it through a full season? I don't think he can. So the backup quarterback position at FSU, in my opinion, is going to be important. And that Sperry kid, I guess, is going to have to be him or Brock Glenn, and we see how that go. But I don't feel real good about the quarterback situation. I mean, that was before Trevor Jackson, which I never expected Trevor Jackson to actually make any headway at Florida State, to be honest with you. I think the bigger problem with some of these guys that's went into the portals that when you look at the 3 or 4 guys they've had go in and you hear about the other 3 or 4 guys that's probably going to go in, it makes you kind of wonder, like, is FSU going to have enough depth to actually have a bounce back season? I don't really think they're going to be able to have a bounce back season if you don't have the depth. So you might see them look good in some games, but I don't know how long they can sustain it if they don't have the depth. And I don't think they're going to have good depth. That's the biggest problem. And I mean, that's what hurts you when you look at those classes in 22, 23. And 22, when you look at 24, you already lost Luke Cromahawk. Probably gonna lose another guy. So you kind of losing guys in classes early. So FSU's in a bit of a pickle when it comes to this stuff, man. So Mike Norvell gonna have to do a really good job, I think, this next class to really find some. Like I said on the last pod, he needs like a big class, like 26, 27 guys of high school guys, in my opinion. And he need to really sell a vision to get people to stay. I don't know what's going on at FSU right now. It's kind of dire right now. Then they got a recruiting class this year that is currently sitting at 19th. Hold on, it's sitting at 26. So it's sitting at currently, and they got 9 commits, no real top level guys. The white kid, the wide receiver's pretty good wide receiver, but he's not even ranked in the country yet. So they're not doing a good job. The new staff is not doing a good job currently at recruiting. So that's a problem. And I know it's just April, but April turns into August, and before you know it, August you into September, October. Now it's National Signing Day. So FSU just got to do a better job, man, of just acquiring talent, man. And it can't be. I said this last year when I was watching a lot of games across the country. When you talk about the Big 10, the Big 12, a lot of these teams that aren't even that great, you see their freshmen actually come in and play and help the football team. With Florida State, it's like our freshmen don't help us. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the last time we had a true freshman come in here and by game 5, game 6 are playing, but you see that across the country. And the FSU is currently just not happening. The evals are bad. They've done a really bad at evaluating guys and getting guys ready to play at this level of college football. And I think that's the damning thing for Mike Norvell, to be honest with you. I think that's why he's struggling so much. And his messaging through spring camp and since they had that bad season has been about, he want guys that's going to show a lot of effort. He want guys that's going to work really, really hard. And I'm just kind of like, dude, you're talking like you're in year 1 and you're in year 5. You know what I'm saying? Year 6. I'm sorry. I think it's 6. Anyway, I feel like he's been forever. But I think it's 5. But his messaging has just been weird to me. It's like he started all the way back over. And that's odd to me. I really wanted to work out for Mike. And most importantly, man, I really want to work out for the kids he recruit. Like, I want Elijah Moore to have a good career. I want some of these guys, Cam Davis, some of these guys to have good careers, man. But it's like there's something lacking with the way they assimilate guys into college, bring guys in and get those guys ready to play football because they can't all be bad players. You got these classes of guys, and it's like none of these guys can help you. And that to me is kind of weird. So I know we blamed a lot of that on the coaching. You know, Alex Atkins couldn't get the O lineman ready, and the wide receiver coach Ron Dewis couldn't get the wide receivers ready. So we got new coaches now, and we had to get rid of the linebacker coach, man. But at some point, man, your head coach and the people he hired to help him evaluate talent, man, they got to get better at that, man. In this new landscape, we have to recruit more players that will play. Yeah. I mean, you really do, and your evaluations have to be good. But man, if you know a guy can help you day one, you got to do everything you can to get that guy. Like, it ain't even about a top 100 guy, man. Because like I said, you see guys across the country that's not ranked really, really high that comes in and help their football team. I mean, they do it all the time. And these kids are way more advanced now. So they're more ready to play than they've ever been. And it's like our guys, they don't play. They just don't play. They don't. And it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, man. So that is just one of those things that I think FSU might have. That's the biggest thing that's hurting FSU right now. I think they're just really bad evaluators, man. Yeah, I think $20 million is well. That's an interesting number, man. $20 million. I mean, I could see that. Um, I think it's anywhere from 10 to 20. I think anywhere from 10 to 20 is probably where you had to get a good football team. Like, I don't think those guys at Notre I don't think the guys at Penn State and Notre Dame are like breaking the bank, but I'm pretty sure it's comparable to what like Ohio State is spending, So I know they said Miami and Ohio State's probably spent the most money last year. I mean, I don't know, man. To me, it's all relative. Sorry about that. Anyway, so if anybody got any more questions, man, I'm gonna try to go for another 8 more minutes. But ideally, if you're FSU, they need to go get them. People keep saying they don't need a running back. I think they need another running back. I think they need one more running back. I think they do need a quarterback, but they're not gonna get that in the spring portal that's any good. So they're gonna be stuck with what they have at quarterback. They're not gonna find good tackles in the spring. But something I do think they could look at that they probably could find. I would try to get some more linebacker help if I was FSU. Um, I do think they're thin at linebacker. And then they got to hope for good health. If FSU can get some good health, get healthy, man, and hold on to that old lineman they got from Ole Miss, the Pettis kid, hopefully that guy can stay. They evaluate good, they just don't land the recruits at the top of their boards. Yeah, they definitely don't land the guys top of their board. I'm not sure what Florida's doing, but they are doing a damn good job retaining all their important players. Yeah, I think also Florida has a little bit more money than Florida State, and I think I think Billy Napier's messaging is pretty good. He's not like he's not a very like to me, Mike Norvell's more of a showman than Billy Napier is. And I think kids can buy into Billy a little bit more because it's not always about the Billy Napier experience. It's like he's more like an old school grinded out coach. And I think kids kind of relate to that a little bit more. And I think and Florida also has a lot of money. So that's probably have a lot to do with why Billy's able to retain a lot of his important players. And I think another thing with Billy Napier is he's kind of like Dabo in a sense when you say if he recruits you, it's a good chance he has a plan for you to actually play. So I think that's why Florida don't lose a lot of players is because if Billy Napier recruits you, he intends on getting you on the field and intends on you playing. And I think he make that abundantly clear the whole time he's recruiting you. And once you get there, I think he has a plan to get the players that he recruited on the field. And I think that's something Mike doesn't show that enough, in my opinion. I think that's why his players portal out so fast, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, man. So if anybody got any more questions, I will take those and I'm gonna sign off. And hopefully I'm gonna get with Matt and try to work out some of his technical difficulties. And man, maybe we can drop a show sometime this weekend. Because I know I owe y'all another 30 minutes. So um somebody was talking about surprise guys going into the portal. Only person I heard was Cam Davis and Pettis from Ole Miss. Those are the only two names that I heard that was kind of surprising to me. Um, I haven't heard a whole lot about Conrad Hussey, Blake Nicholson. I haven't heard anything about Edwin Joseph. I haven't heard anything about. So I think you're gonna keep most of that 23 blue chipper guys that you really like. I think most of those guys are gonna stay for the most part. We'll see. Um, we'll see. So, if that's it, I don't see any more questions up here. But I appreciate you guys coming through. Make sure y'all like the show. Make sure y'all subscribe. We'll be back. I'm gonna get with Matthew so we can get his stuff situated. And we'll drop another show soon. We just have to do an extra show. All right, man. Gotta be good.